Hello, everybody. Karunik here with SintheDarkBody, a.k.a. Muppy Heingardt.
Hello, hello.
And I'm starting what for you might be, the listeners might be a special treat, but for me is also a treat. This is one of my favorite games of all time. Final Fantasy VI, or 3 in the US. And we are playing on actual SNES hardware, which I may regret because we may find that my save games get deleted. If that happens, I'll switch over to emulation, but there may be a delay while I get to wherever we end up before the horrible deletion happens. So
sometimes you just gotta dive into the risk.
I mean, it's worth taking a risk for this game. So yeah, let's reset so that we can watch the intro music. So here's the American Final Fantasy III overtitle crawl, which is there for some reason. And it's not because they didn't want to make the art for the Final Fantasy III look decent, because there it is. But we're playing on, actual SNES hardware, because we might get slightly better audio quality here. And I'm just going to start off by saying this game, I think, has, considering the limitations of the system, I think this game has one of my favorite soundtracks of any game of all time. What Uematsu did with the MIDI controller for this game is damn near sorcery.
I don't know if you remember, there wasn't much advertising for games when this game came out, but yeah. This was one of the games that definitely got a little more advertising than others. And one of the things that you saw in a lot of the ads and in the video game magazines, they talked about how it really they used a lot of the system resources to put this game together.
They did. I mean, this is one of the few SNES games that actually uses all 256 colors on screen frequently. A little slight cameo by Kefka down there. I gotta say, for anyone watching this, if you've never played this game, it's available on a variety of platforms, and if you don't want me to spoil this game for you, I recommend you play it. Anyone who should stumble upon this video on YouTube or happen to watch on Twitch at some point. So all of this is what happens when you first boot up the game with no save games available. When you first click New Game. I think that we'll be able to skip this when we click New Game. Oh. So these guys are Vix and Wedge, when really they're supposed to be Biggs and Wedge, which is a Star Wars reference. Corrected in later Final Fantasies. I'm going to need to fix the cutoff on top. Sorry, everybody.
She fried 50 of our soldiers. Yeah, but, we got 2 guards on her now. We're good.
Well, they got a slave crown on her.
I mean, yeah, but, it's really the 2 guards that are doing all the work here.
I guess they're giving her orders.
I mean, I'd take the credit.
Now this is an amazing scene right here. It's the use of Mode 7, but very slow. With some basic intro credits. Which wasn't done a lot in games back in the day.
They used this for a lot of the map travel in the game, though, didn't they?
The overworld travel is slightly Mode 7, but not this much. Yeah, I'm giving the same disclaimer that I gave for Chrono Trigger. If you've never played this game and you're watching this, you should play it. You can come back and listen to me, gush over it later.
Nonsense, I've never actually played through it. I think I got an hour into it and I never got back to it.
Oh, it's...
But I'm here for the long haul.
Alright, if you say so.
I mean, assuming that all my Mondays remain free.
Yeah, right.
It's entirely possible that I may get into the whole vibe of it and just, pick this up throughout the next week and start going through it.
I mean, if you just stay ahead of the stream, you should be good to go.
I got into these games way, way too late, so, I tried to play this, and then I was like, I should check out Chrono Trigger as well. And then I played them both for an hour, and then I stopped playing them.
Yeah.
I should have just stuck with this one, because really I don't care as much about Chrono Trigger as this.
Chrono Trigger is also amazing, and is worth playing. It's shorter, too. I mean, this game is probably going to take me about 40 to 50 hours to finish, which means it's going to be the better part of a year of streams, but I can't there's just so much goodness in this game.
Yeah, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna see if I can finish this game before you finish it streaming weekly.
Not a very difficult task. I guess we're gonna see this again.
Well, I mean, you know me. I don't finish
true.
games
That's
very
true.
often.
That's true. This was also the first kind of introduction of, technology into the Final Fantasy, into the world of a Final Fantasy, right? Final Fantasy IV was basically swords and sorcery, medieval style kind of stuff for the most part. There wasn't... Even the airships were very, kind of the thing that you would see in, a Leonardo da Vinci painting. I've never played through 5 in its entirety.
It wasn't very industrial. 6 was where it looked industrial.
Yeah.
Everything before that, like you said, the airships all looked like some kind of Da Vinci sketch.
But you really get to feel the closeness of some of the cities in this game. Not everywhere. There are some places where it's still quite pastoral, but... There's the town. So the backstory here is that they found an Esper intact, and supposedly they had all died out during the War of the Magi 1,000 years ago. They've got Terra here, as yet unnamed. Tina in the Japanese version. She's a sorcerer. She literally has the power of magic that is basically unknown to the world at this point. She's been captured and enslaved for the Empire to use as a foot soldier.
Considering I've never played through this game, I do actually have a couple of the soundtracks.
Yeah, there was a 3-disc soundtrack released, an OST that is done on a SNES chipset. There have been, I think, a couple of different orchestral reimaginings published, but there's something very nostalgic about that old Super Nintendo feel to the music that I just can't really get away from. Like, this is the way that I imagine the music when I think about it, which is more frequent than it's probably healthy.
Oh no, it's perfectly healthy. There's I've got one of the chipset soundtracks, and I've got the I went to go see the orchestra play back when Final Fantasy XIV, I think, originally came out, or maybe it was 11. It was one of the online ones.
Nice.
They did a concert where most of the music they did was Final Fantasy VI.
Right.
And I think I bought the CD that they were selling when you went to the concert hall.
Where was the concert?
It was the Detroit Symphony Orchestra, actually.
Oh, wow! I wish I had been able to go to that.
They did it a couple of times. I think they did one 5 years ago again.
Huh.
But yeah, they did Final Fantasy a couple of times.
So the story is that Ted Woolsey did the translation for this whole game in less than 90 days.
That's kind of crazy.
It's pretty impressive considering the amount of text. Alright, this is Narshe. Or Narshe? This is the start of actual gameplay. And of course we're ridiculously overpowered compared to these guards. Magitech armor has its advantages. The thing is that there's not really like a tutorial, but it's a very subtle tutorial. We'll get to that in a second.
Well, that's how they did that for a lot of games back then.
Yeah, I mean, the game has a manual, a booklet, and, back then you were supposed to read it, I guess, or at least look at it.
The manuals were a lot more important for older PC games or like the NES era.
Yeah.
They were still kind of important with Genesis and Super Nintendo, but Super Nintendo was where people started to learn, hey, we can just show you how to play the game as you play the game.
Yeah.
And then, fast forward 20 years and we completely regressed to having 10-hour tutorials instead of just letting people play the games and
right.
Picking up the mechanics slowly and incrementally.
So right before the start of this battle, those guards move forward and they hesitate. And you kind of feel bad for them. Alright, we got a pincher attack.
And then you realize that Terra's slave crown also gives her a wild enthusiasm for all the death and devastation.
So Terra has a lot more neat abilities. We'll tech missile one guy.
Oh wait, the tech missile was the Magitech armor's ability, not hers, right?
Well, I mean, yes, but her Magitech armor is better equipped than anybody else's.
We must defend the mines. But must we?
We must.
Because we're not gonna.
So I think this game defaults to weight type time battle. So we'll have to change that over once we get a chance. You can do active time battle. So right now, if I open this screen here, the rest of the battle will just wait. No one will move, but we'll turn that off to the way the game is supposed to be played. Actually, I can probably change that now. Active. There we go. According to our source, the frozen Esper was found in a mine shaft. A new mine shaft. Maybe this one. In we go. And now we actually have standard random encounter goodness. Let's see. Terra has magic and can cast Cure on everybody or Fire on everybody.
These were-rats look like they run by just shoving their bellies across the floor.
What if they do?
Then they must have really calloused bellies. I don't know.
Maybe that's why they're were-rats. Like, they're not actually were-rats, they're just rats with calluses. And so people think they're were-rats because they're like, look at that growth. Eerie.
What do you think happens if a were-rat manages to stay alive to, like, level 99? What skills do you think a were-rat acquires?
Thunderbolt.
Just Thunderbolt.
Hey, it's a save point. So one of the cool things they set up in this game is that if you die, you go back to your last save, but they retain your experience. God, I hope this works.
What makes you think it wouldn't work?
Well, the battery in this cartridge is 30 some years old, or almost 30 years old. Yeah, it's old. I mean, this is I haven't gone in there with a soldering iron to replace the battery because I'm worried I'll damage something, and so I want to practice on something less valuable than my heirloom copy of Final Fantasy III. I'll handle this. Stand back.
To be fair, I've never actually had to replace a battery, and I've never had any of them malfunction on me.
I've had bad batteries before. Oh, look at this. We won't hammer it over the Esper. Welk, get him.
We're not asking you to hand them over.
We got a briefing. You recall hearing about a monster that eats lightning and craps thunder? Stores the energy in a shell. Whatever you do, don't attack the shell.
Question mark times 5. Make sure you don't attack the shell.
Okay, so because of the way that active time battle works, I enter that fire beam, and that happens. That's usually pretty bad, but we can cure.
Sorry, I couldn't help it. I was in active battle mode.
They slowed Terra. No, no, no! Crap. So the first boss in Final Fantasy IV has this same kind of thing where you have to watch the timing of stuff. Got him. Potion times 1. So this was back in the day when they still didn't do like the potion high potion thing. So the regular potions are called tonics and the high potions are called potions. Because that's not confusing.
It could be more confusing. It could be Phantasy Star.
That's true. Or wizardry.
What spell do you want to cast? I don't know. Rozoya.
This is the Frozen Esper. Oh, this is so great. Hey, what's the matter? Do you know something we don't? The frozen creature began emitting an eerie light. And the two of them are just gone. Alright, game over.
What a great game. You should play it again sometime.
He only just removed the crown. So this guy removed the slave crown.
Yeah, walk it off. I gotta get back to the gym.
Yeah. Others had complete control over you while you were wearing it. Can't remember a thing. Welcome back in time. Born with the gift of magic. So, for some reason, they all cap all the character names to start. I don't understand why they do that, but they do that. So I'll be undoing that. But I won't be putting in the Japanese version names because I don't think they all fit. I guess these are Empire soldiers? They look like the same. They have the same sprites as the Narshe soldiers, but they say "give back." Maybe they mean "give us." Empire magic armor. Gotta get you out of here. I don't have time to explain.
I like how they show up to the town with a couple of guys with Magitech armor, but then like when their super powerful sorceress is captured, they just show up with a couple dogs.
Well, that's why I think they might be the Narshe soldiers. Alert phase.
It's dangerous to go alone. Take this. great bad guy, Repo Man.
He just throws wrenches at... No, he throws wrenches himself.
He's wearing aviator goggles. I mean, nothing about him makes sense if you combine it all. He's got the aviator goggles and the little leather helmet thing, and then he's carrying a wrench around, but he's also called Repo Man.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of weirdness there.
I mean, cave mechanic I could have understood. Still would have been funny, but, you know.
But he's also hunchbacked. And it looks like he has like a deerstalker hat.
Oh, it's also like a leather aviator helmet.
Yeah, something.
Or maybe he's just got a ridiculous bob haircut.
That's less likely. There's a nice little... we don't have enough characters to fit this whole name. Phoenix Down. Sleeping bag. Oh, attack from behind. Which means that they do less damage because she's now back ranked. So there's an interesting bug in this game. You saw how she just blocked a thing with her shield, right?
Yeah.
There's an evade stat. And the evade stat doesn't do anything, if my understanding of the game mechanic is correct. I'll show you this in a second. So, if I go to status, she has an evade percent and an M block percent. But apparently there's a bug in the game where the evade percent doesn't do anything, and everything is blocked based on the M block percentage.
That is weird.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing that always drives me crazy about games, because I'll always, like, have a character with a stat that I want to mess around with, and then I find out that it doesn't do anything like what it is supposed to do.
Yeah. They caught up. Cornered. And then that happens. She's just done.
Just fell to her death.
That's a concussion. The slave crown practically own you. Kefka's a great villain, too. That flash of red and her expression changing. Oh, so good.
Alright, Tara, feel the bloodlust.
So, Kefka's sprite here doesn't look very clownish. He has regular colored skin. He's not wearing like a goofy hat or anything. He looks kind of like just a guy with like his hair tied back in a ponytail, and kind of buggish eyes. But you know, he doesn't look that crazy. And later interpretations of this game have really like enclownified Kefka, which I don't think he needs to be a good villain. I mean, I understand the villainy of clowns, but
they did that based off of his art from the instruction manual, didn't they?
well, I mean, the art was all done by what's that guy's name? Oh shoot, I can't remember his name, but he's a very detailed and good artist. But like, the character works a lot. The character's a lot less interesting or intimidating if he actually looks like a clown. At least in my opinion.
I mean, I would assume so. Also, this cave has the shape of like one of the character sprites.
Yeah. Wait, how did you get in through that door? How goes the robbing and plundering trade? We are now introduced to our second player character. treasure hunter and trail-worn traveler, searching the world over for relics of the past. Now he's...
Yoshitaka Amano.
Yeah, Yoshitaka Amano. Very good. Thank you.
So I've got my copy of the Vampire 100D book over here. He did the art for that, too.
Yes, yes. He did the art for Fairy Fencer F as well, which is a surprisingly good game, yeah.
That one's been on my bucket list.
I prefer the term treasure hunting as one of Locke's trademark phrases. There's a huge difference. And there's a lot more expressiveness in the character sprites in this game compared to, say, Final Fantasy IV as well.
It's kind of interesting how the very first Final Fantasy is the game that got me into RPGs, but I never really finished any of them except for the first one and the seventh one.
Imperial troops are... So he says Imperial troops, so these aren't Narshe soldiers, apparently. Somehow, Imperial troops are now... I guess Narshe lost, and so they're like, okay, we surrender to the Empire? There's a bit of a plot dump. That girl wasn't responsible for action. We would get her to understand our dilemma and then help us with her magic powers. Convinces Locke, which is good. Head to Figaro and talk to the king.
Seriously, she filled like 30 soldiers' bones with lead at one point. I think we could use her.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she's dead.
He just Superman flew in reverse down into the cave.
Well, he jumped down the hole, I guess, right? Now we gotcha, says the guard. And Locke all by himself is like, this is not gonna go well. But we get some friendly Moogles.
Oh yeah, they're gonna help.
Uses to save Terra from the guards. Need more information? Yeah, why not? So, this is a really cool thing that they did in this game. There's a couple of these fights where you have multiple groups and like a little maze and the enemy soldiers moving in, and you have to like make sure that they don't get past you. And so like the first thing that you want to do is you want to put up like some kind of a defensive perimeter. There are 3 paths and 3 groups of Moogles. And the Moogles are all pretty tough. We're talking like level 8 or so, and...
Upward meat shields.
They're all armed with different weapons, which is kind of interesting. This is the group with Locke.
Yeah, the character portraits in the status menu look a lot more like the Yoshitaka Amano
Yes,
art.
that's right. And then, this group has Mog in it. And Mog can't do anything this fight that's special, but what'll happen is Mog masters dances. And he gets 1 dance for every type of, like, area. So he now has a cave dance. Dusk Requiem. Requiem is spelled wrong. I don't think I've ever noticed that.
They forgot how to spell it at the end, and they were like, Requiem.
That thing likes throwing blizzards out.
It's a creature designed to survive in a blizzard, but can also create its own blizzard to survive in if it feels like it.
It does like to do that. And of course you can push forward and fight the boss straight on, or you can take your time and knock out all the incoming enemies. Oof. That group is really badly injured, and we don't have a whole lot of tonics. But I think we're out of enemies. There's a limited number. They don't like spawn a million of them at you. But this is Mog's group, and we should be able to take the boss out here. So the way that the dances work is that Mog has basically 4 different moves that are all pretty powerful. He will just choose at random, basically. Oh, yeah, he's just gone. Not resistant to that, are you?
I'm out of here!
I fell in a hole!
So wait, so when Mog does the dances, that's automatic? You're not choosing which one he does?
Correct.
I think we're pretty close to approaching where I stopped playing the game.
Oh. Oh. I like the idea of a secret cave entrance to a town's mines. Why is this here?
And it was clearly built from the inside, so they like mined part way, and then they were like, you know what, right here we need a door somewhere else.
Yeah.
Don't tell anyone, though.
So Tara apparently has lost all of her memories. And so my memory would come back. Give it time.
Oh wait, no, they sliced your amygdala in half. You're not going to remember anything ever.
Here's Locke trying to be gallant. Don't forget about this secret entrance. A great thing to tell someone who has amnesia.
What secret entrance?
Uh-oh. So this is how they did tutorials back in the day. And it's not like the first thing, but they give you this little classroom to play around in. And it's actually useful to go in because this is water from a recovery spring. It recovers HP and MP. Instant recovery. Environmental science. Save point. At save points, you can use stuff. Yeah, we already got this little...
Welcome to save point. You can use sleeping bag or tent.
Okay, so, gosh, what are the MP items called in later Final Fantasies? Ethers? Just regular ethers?
Ethers and high ethers.
Yeah, ethers and high ethers. So the regular ether is called a tincture in this game. Herbal relics. Special abilities. Sprint shoes. True Knight. Dragoon boots. Gauntlets. Everybody can equip up to 2 relics, but we don't have any quite yet. Restore HP with items that restore your HP. Okay. Now, chocobos are mode 7 in this game. Sometimes monsters lurk inside treasure chests. A single Lobo. And didn't even drop an item.
I'd barely fit in that box with itself, much less an item.
Yeah.
So let me get this straight. You guys shove a Lobo inside a box just for training purposes? Oh, yeah.
No, that was our only one. So this was a cool addition to this game, is that they changed the color of the outlines of the characters to indicate status effects. White is damage, green is healing. Yep. Run for some metal by pressing and holding both L and R. That was already in earlier Final Fantasies. Battle commands. You can pass battle commands if multiple people are ready. Multiple target selection. Row or defense. Sleeping bag. He says, advanced battle tactics. Use a curative spell or item on undead creatures for maximum damage. Life 3 was an interesting addition. So, it's like a scapegoat in Wild Arms. Talking about character skills here, turns many magic attacks into MP, can be used freely. Morph, we'll see later. Dance and Rage continues until the battle's over. Reflect can't block certain magic attacks. Three-way attack indicates fire, ice, and lightning. Blink was in earlier Final Fantasies. Clear. Enemy can't strike you, but you're an easy target for spells. Revert to normal if a spell hits you. That's an interesting glitch/exploit in this game called Vanish Doom that we might try out at some point. Lose use of spells in command as an imp. Zombie is like being confused with 0 hit points, and you need to use a special item called Revivify to reverse that. Muddled and Psych, you can just get hit, and that fixes that. Let me... So this is kind of cool. It's the precursor to like limit breaks. Basically, if your character has below the regular number of hit points, sometimes special things happen if you select fight. Although it's probabilistic, and since it happens only when your characters are nearly destroyed, it's not that useful. Sword techniques, just gain by leveling. Reflect doesn't block spells that have already been reflected. That's an old trick, but still a good one. But like, they throw the tutorial at you a half hour into the game after you've already had a bunch of fights. Now if we try to go in here... Who might you be? With little pauses in between words. Or hightail it southward to Figaro. Now, the interesting thing here is that the music doesn't switch to the overworld theme when we end up here. I don't know why exactly it doesn't do that, but it just doesn't. So Figaro is in the middle of a big desert, and that will become important later on. Wait. Hey, oh, so they know lock. What the castle does with an engine room, well, I'm sure we'll figure it out eventually. Got some thieves in prison over here.
Very constricted prison.
Oh, yeah. They're like, go. You need to go see the king. Don't explore. We don't have time for you to explore. You need to see the king.
They don't even know who you are. They're just like, go see the king.
Well, they know who Locke is. Okay, so we got some free stuff. And I think, yeah.
Hey, Your Majesty, you know you're in violation of the Geneva Conventions, right?
The what conventions?
Never mind. I lost all my memories.
You better. Okay. We're not going to worry too much about softs and echo screens. We've got a few tonics and a few phoenix downs now, so we should be good to go. Actually, they're trying to prevent us from exploring the castle, but... Go see the king! They're like so angry at us.
Oh my god, the other guy just told you.
You mean this young woman? Terra does not take that well.
Well, he is the king. I mean, I know they're labeling him man in the thing, but he was sitting on the throne and everything. Kind of a big giveaway.
Edgar, King of Figaro. No, I mean, like, thieves always know kings. That's how fantasy stories go. And Locke is just gone. He's like, I won't leave you until you get your memory back. And then it's just like, he's gone.
He also does not have a good memory.
So this is interesting. Figaro and the Empire are allies. Three reasons. First of all, your beauty has captivated me. Second, I'm dying to know if I'm your type. I suppose your abilities would be a distant third. And Terra's just like, Terra will have none of this. So, one of the cool things about this game is that, especially compared to a lot of the other Final Fantasy games, this has, what, like 14 player characters, of which 12 have significant, like, parts? And it's pretty well balanced, in the sense that, like, everybody has stuff that they do and that happens to them, and they all have parts in the story. Whereas using something called magic, quote-unquote magic. It doesn't look like it, but this castle incorporates some of the most high-tech devices in existence. For example, oh, they're all classified. But these guys have moved. But I guess we'll just kind of tour. Though Edgar showers his attentions on women, most are too smart to pay any attention to him. He really tried to hit on the High Priestess. Surely he's talked to you.
Tara's like, who's this High Priestess? I gotta do something about this?
Desert Castle. The Empire has smashed the 3 cities on the southern continent. Just a matter of time until they make it up here. Also, it's good that you're allied with them, right? And I think that talking to her advances the story, so we'll do a little exploring first.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and call this Castle Terra for a while.
Measure were called Mage Knights. Of course, that was like 1,000 years ago. No one does that anymore.
That would just be silly.
That's silly.
Silly like a scholar.
Like a scholar. So not only is it a castle, it's a manufacturing facility.
Look at all those fans in those towers. How much... This place must be kicking out fumes like crazy.
Yeah, it's a question of what the fans are doing. If they're like windmills, they might be generating power. Like there might be vents in the lower part of the tower. Yeah, see, there's vents in the lower part of the towers. So maybe they're just picking up desert wind and turning it into electricity. It looks cool. That's what's important.
Desert wind that blows down from above?
Well, no. I mean, it can blow horizontally in from the bottom here and then make its way up.
Fair enough.
Edgar has a twin brother. Well, the fade out in the music is nice right there.
But he's dead now.
NPC, or rather PC number 4. Edgar's twin brother, who traded the throne for his own freedom. To Bodyville.
Well, to be fair, there wasn't much of a line of succession for someone named Youth.
Well, so, in the English version, his name's Sabin. Or Sabin? In the Japanese version, he was called Mash. He looked so like his father. Well, they're twin brothers, so they both look at... whatever. He ran off. They're really efficient with the storytelling here. We've already got 4 main characters introduced, and they all have motivations and character traits. I think the next thing we're supposed to do is go rest, actually. Maybe not.
She wakes up and Edgar's like hovering above her.
Hey, how you doing? Ah!
What are you doing here? Just, watching you sleep, making sure everything's okay.
Edgar manages to be funny without really being creepy. That's a good thing. Succession was settled with a coin toss.
I would have thought it was settled after he fled the castle.
Well, I mean, it decided to flee the castle based on the coin toss. Oh, we got visitors from the Empire. Probably Kefka.